Can't hear Roseanne at all. I see her lips moving though.
Kennedy, I see your phone ending in 864.
Oh boy. What did you say?
Oh, now it's better.
Yeah.
It's okay. I turn off the sound. Still coming some noise, Commissioner Kennedy.
I don't have my other device on. My laptop's muted and the sound's off. The only sound is through my earpiece.
Yeah. Coming from 864.
I'm hanging up and calling back in anyway, Roseanne. I called from my personal phone. I'm not supposed to do that. I'm going to hang up and call back.
Are these microphones turned on? What?
It's on.
Thank you.
Eight. Yep.
Can you hear me, Roseanne?
Yes, I can.
Roseanne, anytime you're ready, let me know.
Okay, ma'am. We're ready for you.
Okay, good evening, everybody. This is our special virtual commission meeting, Variance hearing, April 13th. Roseanne, would you call the roll, please?
Mayor Alvin,
Here.
Vice Mayor Gonzalez,
Present.
Commissioner Hammerberg,
Present.
Commissioner Kennedy,
I'm here.
Commissioner Samaria.
Here.
Commissioner Mary, would you lead us on the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we're going to open up Variance 21-0001. Public comments of
Maybe the village attorney should guide us.
I'm sorry,
Village attorney should
The
guide.
village attorney should guide us through the process.
I can't hear you at all.
The attorney.
Oh, Ed, you're up first. Hello.
Good evening, mayors, commissioners. Let me go ahead through the script that we have for quasi-judicial hearings. The hearing will be conducted by the Village Commission, which will hear testimony from the applicant and then the public. The clerk will swear in all witnesses before they speak. Each person who speaks should state their name and whether they have been sworn in. The material in the commission's agenda package will be considered as part of the record. After the applicant, or in this case, the applicant's representative testifies, the hearing will be opened up to members of the public to speak in support of or against the application for the variance. The Village Commission may set reasonable time limits for members of the public who speak. Members of the public may choose to be sworn in. If a member of the public chooses not to be sworn in, the Village Commission may consider that as a factor in evaluating the speaker's comments. Does the Village Commission wish to establish time limits now for public speaking? We generally
I don't think it's necessary.
around 3 minutes, or do you not want to do that?
I don't think it's necessary.
All right.
3 minutes. My
Is there a consensus?
All the other commissions, please.
I'm fine with more than 3 minutes.
You're fine with what, Art?
With more than 3 minutes.
With more than 3 minutes? We don't
If
have that many
necessary.
people here anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we'll not have time limits tonight, but we would ask the speakers not to repeat themselves or to other statements that have previously been made.
Ed,
After members of the public speak, the applicant may make additional statements. We now move to quasi-judicial disclosure. If any commissioner has had any ex parte contacts that are not a part of the record, those contacts should be verbally disclosed at this time. Does anybody have any disclosures?
I do.
emails from some of the residents, and I have just answered a few. Thank you for your comments.
Okay,
Same
I've
thing
spoken
here.
to no one.
I received some emails from residents and I responded to it.
okay,
I also received email messages from residents, and I told them that I could not respond or read their messages, that they would need to speak up in the meeting.
I also received some emails. I did not respond to any emails. I apologize in advance for that, but tonight is the night to talk.
I spoke with P&Z Chair Gage Hartung a couple of times, including this afternoon most recently, and I received emails from Leslie Holland, Fred Jonas, Aldana Olas, and Jill Lavadia, and I responded to each of them with a response that was approved by our attorney, Valerie Vicente.
Madam Mayor, Madam Attorney, I want to just add a couple more since Commissioner Kennedy brought up something. I did have a conversation with two board members, Jared Susi and Gage, on this matter.
Please be advised that your decision at the conclusion of the hearing must be based upon competent, substantial evidence related to the village's code of ordinances and not generalized opposition that is not fact-based. At this time, all persons who will be witnesses in this matter, please raise your hands so the clerk may swear you in.
Mr. Attorney, I'm sorry to interrupt. Do we also, because this is a Zoom meeting, can everybody please turn on their cameras so that the record could reflect that you have your hands up if you're going to be sworn in? I believe we're also missing a Don Davenport and an Arthur, should they wish to be sworn in.
Who is the representative for the applicant?
I'm Silvia Sabate.
Can you hear us?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
I just can't see you.
Yeah, they're there in the
Let's
middle,
see.
Oh, I see. Okay.
right under Bob Anderson.
Okay. All right.
we
So
have-
Ms. Abate, are you going, you need to be sworn in. Okay,
Can
Roseanne.
you see me?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Everyone, please, raise your right hand, please.
You're on the right.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
I did.
And give me a second with the hands up so I can take notes of the names, please. Okay.
I only see 6 residents. What do you say?
All right. Thank you.
And are we ready for public comments or?
No, the applicant goes first, Mayor. So Ms. Sabate, would you please state your name and address for the record and
Yes.
present any evidence you would like to offer to the commission in support of the application?
Okay, my name is Silvia Sabate. My address is 3470 East Coast Avenue, apartment H301, Miami, Florida. And I'm here representing Janina Van Dreamer, the owner of the property located at 590 Northeast 119th Street. Mrs. Janina has been a resident at the village for over 50 years. She has paid taxes and has been responsible and a very well-known neighbor for many, many years. Now, a widow is in need to sell her vacant land for good use. But she is not allowed because her 65-foot front lot is not buildable under the current land development code of the village of Biscayne Park. For this reason, and in order to make use of her property and make this sale possible, she submitted a variance request together with some architectural drawings and renders of the new project or the house that is intended to be built in that vacant lot. Mrs. Van Dreamer already received for her vacant lot a signed offer. That's the reason why she's seeking a variant, a minimal variance, to be able to sell his vacant piece of land. I am the one who submitted the offer and who is developing the new house. We are a couple. We fell in love with the neighborhood and we would love to build our house. I am also no licensed here in Florida, but I am an architect and I developed the project for my future house. We are proposing a single family home, a 2-story single family home that is elevated 2 feet from the ground level and will comply with all the land development code requirements. As I don't know if everybody has all the documents with you, but if you look at the documents, you will see that we will comply with all the requirements on the land development code. Our intention is to contribute to the development of the community, adding value to the neighborhood. And how we will obtain this? We will obtain this respecting the aesthetic of the village, complementing the existing surrounding constructions, keeping the size of the new house under control. In fact, we are only covering the 35, let me see the number. The building footprint area will be only 21% of the total lot area. So what our height will be 5 feet below the maximum height that are allowed. the maximum lot coverage is 50%, we will be covering only 35%. What I'm trying to show you is that we are keeping, or we are trying to be very careful in the design and trying to build a reasonable medium-sized house that will allow a very nice landscaping area. At the same time, we are developing an environmentally low impact home that will use natural and raw materials that will reduce its carbon footprint and energy need as follows. We will use concrete for the structure, glass walls, stone and wood for the interior finishes. We will avoid any PVC or plastic. We will use cross air ventilation, make good use of daylight, rainwater harvesting, thermal mass materials to avoid solar heat, and we will use higher than normal levels of insulations. So what I'm trying to show with this description is my interest, my personal interest to contribute to the value and the development of the community. And I want to make this house my house. For this reason, and as I already described, we are complying with all the established requirements in the Land Development Code. So what we are requesting is a minimum variance for a reasonable and good use of this vacant lot.
Okay, are you finished?
I'm finished.
Does any commissioners have any questions of Ms. Sabate?
Is this our only opportunity to ask questions of the applicant, Ed? I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, yes, it is.
It is, okay. I do have some questions, but I'll defer to other commissioners if they want to go first.
No, you can go first, Commissioner Kennedy.
Okay. May I call you Sylvia?
Yes, of course.
My name is Mac Kennedy. Please call me Mac. I have a couple of questions for you. I'll be really quick. So you clarified a couple of things that I wanted to know. I wanted to know who the players were in this equation. I was a little confused by that. So you and your husband will be living in this home?
Exactly.
Okay. Why did you fill out, the applicant is the owner of the property, but you filled out the application and you paid the fees. Why are you handling this process for her?
Well, because she feels that she's old and she doesn't have the energy to do so. So Janina really needs to sell this vacant lot, but she has no the energy to go through all this process. So she asked us, my husband and I, but I'm representing her because I'm the one who's drawing and designing. But she asked me to represent her. She's tired to do all this alone, so we are helping this.
Okay, I wish you were here. It's really unfortunate that we won't be able to ask questions of her directly and hear from her directly as well, but I understand that you are representing her. How did you come into this project? Because there have been for sale signs in front of the two. She has an empty lot on the other side of her home as well. So there are two lots. I don't know if they're on the MLS, but there are two lots that have for sale signs in front of them. How did you become involved in this?
How do, well, to be honest, my husband, we like the neighborhood, and my husband was driving around and he saw the signs. And so we contacted the realtors that are helping Janina, and so we started our relationship. That's the way we end up contacting her. Now we are living in an apartment in Midtown, and but all our life we lived in a house, and we really missed having a house, and so it was the moment for us to move. And
Okay.
well, and we were driving around the neighborhood. I really like, we really like Biscayne Park and the landscaping, and that's the way we found them. We saw the
Okay,
signs.
so you don't have a relationship, you didn't have a previous relationship with the realtor, you're not a developer in some way?
No, we didn't have any relation,
Okay.
no, at all.
Okay. Can you clear up some confusion for me about the property? Because the applicant purchased the property in 1970, and it was the 3 lots together.
Okay.
And from my understanding, there was one folio number for all 3 lots. But then apparently in 2018, the lot in question here was separated off and given its own folio number. How did that come to be?
As I understand, they applied and the Miami-Dade approved this division. Janina has been paying taxes for that lot. And that's all that I know. Let me ask my husband, you know something additional?
Yeah. Hi, this is Jose Sabate. No, as far as we understand, they reverted
Excuse me,
back.
Mr. Sabate,
Yes.
have you been sworn in?
I did not, but
If you're going to present testimony, then please allow the clerk to swear you in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to have to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do, yes.
Okay. And Jose Sabate, right?
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, for what we know, they reverted back to the original lots, and the original lots, and whenever the current owner purchased that, those 3 lots had a specific size, and they reverted back to the original plat. I don't know more than that.
Okay, you have not purchased this land from her yet.
No,
Have you closed? You have not closed on the land. Okay, so she still owns the property, and she's requesting a variance so that you can build on a non-conforming lot.
Exactly.
So you guys are clear that you're clear that it's a that she was able to separate the lot, but it is a non-conforming lot, and she's aware, and you're aware that as of right now, you can't build on it. So she's requesting the variance for you, correct?
Exactly. Or we are presented the project for her because she wants to divide the lot and sell, but at the same time, you need to know what's the intention on that lot.
Exactly.
That's we are.
Okay, but she's not intending to build on the property. She's asking for a variance so she can provide it to you, so you can build on the property after you buy it.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And the condition,
okay, very good.
The condition for us to close on the property is just, it
be
needs to be
able to
buildable,
build.
because if not, it's not.
You need to be able to build on it.
Right.
Okay. Okay, I have one quick question about the building itself, the plans itself, and then I'm done. First of all, it's very nice, and I liked hearing all of the, environmental, energy saving kind of things you're including in the building. So that's all great to hear. Talk to me about the height of the building overall, because you say that it will be built 2 feet above base floor elevation, and I don't know what that means. Could you explain to me what that means? And is that higher than what's required? So talk to me about the starting point of the building based on what the land looks like now and how tall the building will be when it's done.
Okay, let me find the drawing so I can be correct. Okay. So, give me 1 second, please. 10, 2, 3, okay. The house will be elevated 2 feet from the ground in order to keep up with the environmental issues nowadays. So we want to have our house elevated. Regarding the height, the maximum height that the building will have from ground zero to the the most highest point of the building will be 29 feet. So we are 5 feet below the maximum height allowed. Okay,
Well, we don't have a maximum height allowed in Biscayne Park, so.
well, as
That
I
doesn't really
understand that
pertain.
is, are you, yes? Well, so maybe I'm not right, because I have the maximum is 34 for a resident.
We don't have a maximum, but that's okay. So you're gonna raise the property 2 feet and then construct on top of that. Are you raising the entire property or underneath
No,
the house only?
No, only only the building print. The building
So where the
footprint.
building sits, you're gonna raise it up 2 feet from where it is now and then build on top of that. Okay, so I
Yeah.
didn't understand what base floor elevation meant. Okay, so the lot will be raised up a couple of feet. Okay, I think, let me just look real quickly since Ed said this is my one and only chance to ask you any questions. Who is Sean Grimberg? I saw that he requested the survey. Sylvia.
Sorry?
Who is Sean Grimberg? I just saw his name on the application for the survey.
No idea, I'm sorry.
Okay, okay.
Probably
That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Sorry, probably it's a surveyor. It's not something that we ordered. It's something that it was there, so.
Okay.
And it's not updated, so it's not us that.
Okay.
We don't know that.
Yes, maybe the surveyor, but I never met that person.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello,
If I,
this is
sorry.
Sabat.
Yeah, go ahead, Jenny.
Can you
Yep.
please tell me if Mrs. Banzarma lives at that residence now?
Sorry, I
Can you repeat the question, please? We didn't hear you.
Oh, does she live in that house now, 500 Northeast 119th Street?
I am having trouble, probably. I don't know if it's your mic that's not very clear.
She's asking
But
if,
I don't know if someone understood the question.
she's asking if the seller of the property still lives in the house.
Absolutely, yes.
She lives in the house.
She lives in the built house to the west of the
Right.
property in question, yes.
Thank you.
She lives,
Any questions?
Yeah, so if I may, Mr. and Mrs. Sabate, I love the design of the house. I looked at it, it's actually very beautiful. My only question is, have you guys built anything around here before here in South Florida?
In South Florida, well, actually, yes, I have been working for an architectural office for many years, and I design and build and manage construction in South Florida, Coral Gables, Key Biscayne, Aventura, remodelings in Weston. So I can offer, if you want, referrals, I mean, people, contact people, that references.
Got it. So you're very familiar, obviously working in Coral Gables and other areas like that with strict codes that other municipalities have. So you're very familiar with
Exactly, I am.
Okay, good. That's all I have. Thank you.
Yeah, anybody else?
No.
Okay. I know there's problems with this microphone, but I hope you can hear me. Open the floor up now to the public.
Yeah, is there anyone who would like to speak first of all in support of this application for variance? Seeing none. Who would like to speak against this application?
I would. Leslie Holland.
Ed, I think I saw someone adding.
Yeah, I got the Coles, Miss Holland,
Jeffrey Salter,
Jeffrey Salter.
Barbecue.
Gage.
I don't know, Gage, did you want to speak on this? Okay, let's go with Miss Holland first. Miss Holland, were you sworn in?
Yes, I was.
Would you please state your name and address for us?
Certainly, Leslie Holland, and I am at 518 Northeast 119th Street in Biscayne Park.
Okay. Thank you. Please go ahead.
Certainly, thank you. For approximately 27 years, I have lived in my property at 518 Northeast 119th Street. The eastern portion of the parcel at issue is immediately adjacent to my property. Non-conforming, non-buildable lot. And given the location of my property, I will be the most affected person if the variance is granted. I believe that one of the issues that you consider when you evaluate these requests is whether or not the denial or the granting of the variance would result in hardship. Now, the loss of a profitable sale does not constitute competent substantial evidence of hardship. Although the denial of the requested variance might result in the loss of a profitable sale of the eastern portion of my neighbor's parcel, of course, the western parcel is still for sale, there's no evidence that my neighbor, Janina, will sustain hardship if you deny the variance. On the other hand, if you grant the requested variance, I will sustain considerable and irreparable harm. I have been advised that the decrease in my property value would be substantial, and this would have a protracted and adverse effect on me. Additionally, my use and enjoyment of my property will be impaired by the proposed construction of this two-story light-blocking edifice. My main living space, which is the only well-lit room in my home, and my office, my home office, face this property. I directly face this property for several hours on most days as I work remotely. My ability to work from home, which entails representing clients in legal matters, attending lengthy hearings, arbitrations, depositions, trials, using remote technology will be utterly destroyed. I am a senior citizen. I have an underlying medical condition. I must work remotely, and it is critical that my ability to continue to do so not be effectively taken by the proposed construction. There's also the issue of a shared border that runs right through the middle of mature trees that are aesthetically pleasing. It would be anticipated that the new builders might request that I agree to the destruction of these trees that both properties share. And this would result in an unfortunate, uncomfortable dispute. Finally, the granting of the variance would signal to the community, I've been here for 27 years, that the code provision at issue has no effect. And this would create a very poor precedent that would be difficult for the commission to recede from, and I believe it would be detrimental to the quality of life in Biscayne Park. I do have one additional concern raised by Ms. Sabat's presentation. I believe that they testified under oath that they rent their condo. I may not have heard them. My understanding is that they own their condo in Midtown and that it's homesteaded. I may have incorrect information, but this is the information that I was provided during their testimony. So if they do own that condo and might perhaps continue to live in it, I'm wondering who will be living in this property, this proposed property next door. So that's just a concern. And so for these reasons, I'm just respectfully requesting that this requested variance be denied. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Holland. Bob Anderson.
I completely agree with Ms. Holland.
Bob, wait, time. Please state your name and address and tell us whether you've been sworn in.
Yes, I've been sworn in. My name is Bob Anderson. I live at 11905 Northeast 11th Place. I completely agree with Ms. Holland. I have lived here over 42 years. And from time to time, we've had the same situation that has come up where there's been property that is under width that they wanted to sell, homeowner wanted to sell. And so something else can be put there. Every time over 40 some odd years, it's been denied because we never wanted to have a community that starts with narrow lots. And I encourage the commission not to be the first commission to go ahead and start this roller coaster. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Salter? You're muted.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My name is Jeffrey Salter. I live at 521 Northeast 119th Street. I've lived in this beautiful bird sanctuary since 2006, so that'll be about 15 years.
Mr. Salter, excuse me, I'm sorry. Would you please tell us whether you were sworn in or not?
Yes, I have been sworn in indeed.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I've lived in this beautiful bird sanctuary for about 16 years, and I'm not an urban planner. I'm a landscape and art photographer. I'm a visual artist. I've worked for architects shooting their buildings and shooting landscapes around the world. So I know a little bit about land and beauty. And I live diagonally about 2 houses away from the lot that they want to develop. And my concerns is just increasing the amount of density of the traffic by having yet another structure being on our block. We've already got problems with the roads and the routes that are our roads. The road on 119th Street between 6th Avenue and Griffin already needs to be lifted. We also would like to put in a gas line itself. So there's going to be a lot of projects already done on our block. And also getting back to nature, yet another building being squeezed into a lot makes our community look like a subdivision. And that's not why people move to Biscayne Park. They move so they can walk, feel the air, see the birds, see the animals. It's not about building on lots, having all house and a driveway and no lawn. I mean, you might as well move to Doral if that's what you want, if you want to put houses that are too big on too small of lots. I mean, the house design is great. I'd love to knock down if she wants to knock down my house and put up that structure, I'm all for that. But unfortunately, that lot is not suitable for that proposal. She also mentioned something about 35% of the lot being used. Well, what guarantees we have that maybe somebody might say, hey, I want to expand the lot. I want to expand the footprint of the home even further. And you guys might not even be around. So, I mean, I love you guys. I hope you're around. But, we need to have certain guarantees. And I guess the best way of getting that guarantee is to not allow this particular project to go through. Thank you for listening to me. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. So just to clarify, I'm against the project going further. Thank you.
Barbara Kuhl, are you or Jerry want to speak?
I believe Barbara Q and Gary Q, they didn't swear in. I didn't see their hands up when we can do now.
But who's speaking?
Who's going to speak, Barbara or Gary?
You need to unmute yourself.
Okay, Gary Kuehl is going to speak first.
Address.
I was not sworn in, nor was Barbara, but we're not asking that our testimony be part of the record. So I understand we don't have to be sworn in.
That's correct, Mr. Kuehl.
Okay. The address is 777 Northeast 111th Street, and I'm opposed to the construction. I will not reiterate what Ms. Holland very well described, the reasons that I don't believe it's a hardship any more than she does. The homeowner has enjoyed this property for probably about 50 years, as I understand, and now decides that she'd like to sell it. That to me doesn't represent a hardship in any way. My concern beyond that is that, there's been discussion about the so-called McMansions and having overbearing structures in the community. And when you decide to put a two-story structure on a lot that's not the required width, it just exacerbates the problem of the imposition on other neighbors like Ms. Holland. The other thing is, although I fully understand it does not represent a legal precedent in granting the variance, it does represent a precedent in the sense that it puts pressure on this commission or others to follow suit in fairness to a homeowner. I, for instance, have a corner lot and I have a great deal of frontage. I don't quite have the depth, but if I were to decide to subdivide my property, if you're familiar with my house, I'd have two houses on this piece of property, which really doesn't support that or deserve that. When we start to go down the slippery slope of allowing undersized lots or lots that aren't the proper width, you start to move in the direction of townhouses. And that's not what this community is. That's not what this community wants. So I really don't support it. I don't consider it a minor variance. I consider it a very dangerous variance. Thank you. Barbara.
Barbara Kuehl, 777 Northeast 111th Street. I won't repeat everything, and I agree with everyone who's spoken. One point that I feel is important, we have a lot of large lots in Biscayne Park, and more we're seeing new development. And by allowing this under width lot, what's to stop somebody buying the larger lots and subdividing it and ending up, just like Gary said and other people have mentioned, the townhouse look. And 3,500 square feet is a very large house for Biscayne Park. And this is on a 65-foot lot. The front of our house is 150 feet. And 65 feet, I walked out the other night, it would be way undersized. And I looked at the property. It's not as if some locations have mature trees around it. They're more hidden. This isn't. This is right in your face. And I think it's going to, if this is allowed to go forward, we're going to start seeing the more open look of Biscayne Park disappear. And honestly, I don't understand how this variance passed P&Z's approval, because to me, it didn't meet the criteria, especially for the owner of the property. It has nothing to do with the person who wants to buy the property. So for those reasons and the other people that are involved, I'm against this, letting this go through. Thank you.
Age, you're next.
Gage.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Gage Hartung, 1029 114th Street. I was sworn in. I'm actually here to speak on behalf of the P&Z board. As chairman, I would just want to report that the board did vote to recommend approval of this variance. The vote was 3-2. The three were Doug Tanhill, Alexander Bernard, and Edward Sava. And the two against was Gage Hartung, myself, and Jared Susie. The majority felt that the applicant did meet the 4 points and agreed to conditions that if the house was approved, it would be built in the dimensions and the scale of the house that was submitted and would not exceed that, like exceed square footage, setbacks, and everything like that. They agreed to keep it in that size. So the board, in a majority vote, did approve the recommendation for it. As a personal homeowner and resident myself, I don't want to get into that because of my own opinion, but I would just like to say that the opinions that have been expressed so far are pretty much our alignment of what I feel personally. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
there anyone else from the public who wishes to speak at this time?
Ed, we have Adi Nelson.
Mr. Nelson?
You're still muted, sir. Okay.
Hi, Alona Nadine Nelson. We haven't been sworn in, but
I have been.
oh, I'm sorry, my wife has. We are at 461 Northeast 119th Street. We're the lot right across of where we're talking about. I just want to get, just put in a few facts. I mean, the lot on our side of the street, to the west of us, seems to be from, just maybe eyeballing it, just about the same size as what we're talking about to subdivide Miss Janina's house into. And over there, they're already building a two-story right next door to us, which seems to have captured the entire space of the entire width of their lot. So I think whatever we're talking about legally, and I think this is the reason it probably went through planning and zoning already, already has precedent, not only in Biscayne Park, but literally across the street from the lot we're talking about. As neighbors of Janina, we spoke to her about their plans. We saw what Sylvia and her husband want to do there. Personally, we're not, we joined this meeting because it has directly, obviously it's going to affect us. We're not as prepared as some of the speeches we heard here, but we definitely just want to say that we have no opposition for this happening. Everything that was proposed to be, built here seems very tasteful and classy, and I don't think will take anything away from the look of the neighborhood. Vice versa, I think all this modern building on good sized lots, and we're not taking the lot and making it a 5,000 square foot lot still. So I don't think we can ever get to, living like a cookie cutter neighborhood like in Doral. I think it's still going to look, give a very good look to our neighborhood, and if anything, raise the value of all our homes. We just don't oppose. I think all the parties in play here are doing, things the right way, taking into consideration their neighbors and the community. We, for one, are for approving this for their benefits.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Is there anyone else, Roseanne?
I don't see anybody else on.
At this time, Ms. Sabate, if you would like to make any further comments, please go ahead and do so.
Ed, there is a hand raised. Mrs. Plug?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Ms. Flug.
Hi, yes, I'm not sworn in.
That's okay.
I live at 520 Northeast 119th Street. I have lived in my house for over 36 years. I just want to say that I am opposed to this due to the fact that it's going to change the face of not only my block, but of Biscayne Park. I'm worried that this is going to set a precedent, and I am not in favor of building on lots that are not the actual size that they are supposed to be. So I just wanted to voice that and let you know that I am opposed.
Mayor, if you allow me, Mrs. Flug, can you state your whole name and the address again, please?
My name is Judy Flug. My address is 520 Northeast 119th Street. I am one house from the lot that we are talking about.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't see anybody else, Ed.
Okay. Ms. Sabate, you have the right to to add anything else that you'd like to at this time, having heard the comments?
Yes, I have a couple of points. First of all, it shouldn't be something new in the neighborhood, because I have been looking at the public records and I found out that there are several or many lots that are 65 feet wide. They don't look full, they don't impact in a bad manner in the neighborhood. So it wouldn't be the only one. Second, I want to point out that the lot complies with the minimum square footage required. It's not a smaller lot, it's just 10 feet narrow. At the same time, and regarding the landscaping, I am a landscaper, so I am the more and most interested in having a beautiful garden. I have been working in landscaping in New York for a couple of years, so it's in my interest to have the best garden possible. Regarding the value of the properties, I think that a new, tasteful, and nice house will add value to the surrounding property instead of making them decreasing their value. On the contrary, I can, I can adjust I really love the neighborhood, and I can adjust my design to any requirement or any negotiation that the neighbors can demand from me, like keeping the square footage no more than 3,500 square feet, or I don't know. I am open to make any change in my design to make everybody happy and to be able to make my house there. Let me see if I have something missing here. Yes, and finally, I wanna say that we are fulfilling the requirements for every setback, front setback, side setbacks, and rear setbacks. So we are not built over the neighbor's constructions. So we will keep the required setbacks. And that's all. I have nothing more to say.
Thank you, Ms. Abate. Mayor, Commissioners, now it's the time for you to deliberate and discuss among yourselves. And then at the end, I will let you know what the competent substantial evidence standard is.
Ed, do we make a motion at this point or deliberate first?
You can go ahead and make a motion. I think that's a good idea, Art.
Okay, I would like to make a motion that we deny this variance.
I'll second that.
Now we can discuss?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Commissioner.
Okay. Okay, so this is nothing personal against you and your husband, Ms. Abate. I happen to like the looks of what you're doing over there quite a bit, but our job here on the commission is to protect the village overall and certainly look out for the residents as well. So the way these variances work is that there are these 4 points that you have to meet. And if you fail in our opinion, if you fall short on any of them, then we're required to vote against the variance. So that's why I made a motion to deny, because in my opinion, having listened to your testimony, looking through all the documents that were provided to us before this meeting, I don't feel that you meet the requirements of any of the four points. And I'd like to discuss a couple of them very quickly. The first one is that there are special circumstances or conditions affecting the property which are such that the strict application of the code would deprive the applicant of the reasonable use of her land. Well, that requirement isn't met in my opinion because the applicant, who's not here this evening, has the right to do on that land what she wants to do. What she's asking us to do is to provide that to you. So the strict application is not depriving the applicant of anything on her land. The strict application of it, what it's actually doing is providing you the ability to do something, because she has the ability to use that land now, and without getting into great detail, in the Land Development Code, section 10.2.3, it provides her the ability to develop that property herself. So she has great latitude to do things to that property. So strict application of this is not denying her any of that. She could build that house, but you can't. And she's asking us to give her the variance to hand it off to you. So that's the first point that she fails to meet here. The second is that the variance is necessary for the preservation and enjoyment of a substantial property right of the applicant. If selling the property is a substantial property right, she can certainly sell it. Nothing is stopping her from selling that property. She could sell it to you, but it's a non-conforming lot. You could not build on it. So if the hardship is she needs to sell the property because she needs the money, she can sell the property and you could use it for other purposes, but you can't build a house on it because it's a non-conforming lot per our code. So she fails to meet that requirement as well. The third one is the granting of the variance will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to the property or to other properties in the area which it's located. Well, in my opinion, detrimental includes increasing the density of building in Biscayne Park, and I think that absolutely works against the quality of life for the residents that are here, certainly on that street, and of the overall village aesthetics. I'm most specifically concerned with Leslie Holland because she is the neighbor immediately adjacent to it, and she most certainly is adversely affected by this variance being approved and your house going up the way you've designed it. Ms. Holland purchased her property in 1994. That was 4 years after this village adopted the land development code that's in question. So when she purchased her home 4 years after the code was adopted, she purchased it with the understanding that that lot would not be buildable by anyone except the current owner who's grandfathered in. So I'm concerned for her as well, and I think that it violates her rights to enjoy her property also. And the fourth thing is that the variance proposed is the minimum variance which makes possible the reasonable use of the property. So what we're required to approve is the minimum variance. Well, the minimum variance here is actually no variance at all, because getting back to what I said earlier, a variance isn't even necessary. The owner of that property has the ability to develop that property. So no variance is required for her to get the minimum variance is none, because she doesn't even need a variance to do with the property what she wants to do. She, in a certain way you could look at it, she created this hardship by separating lot 6 and trying to sell it. She's trying to sell a non-conforming lot. She's trying to sell something that she's fully aware is not a buildable lot. So in my opinion, she falls short on all 4 of these points. And if she falls short on any one, then I would be required to deny the variance. So I'm prepared to deny the variance. But I am anxious to now hear from the other commissioners and see what they have to say. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Gonzalez, would you like to speak?
Well, Mac hit a lot of the points that I had. And while I certainly understand Ms. Holland's position, and I understand what Mac was trying to say as far as when she bought the home in 1994, that in 1990, but the reality is, and Mac did mention this, is that the current owner can build that particular house as designed on that property if she so desired. So that would still affect Ms. Holland. The issue here at hand, though, is are we currently willing to grant a variance to that property so that somebody else can build that property that is currently not under our code. Based on that and based on the fact that, that lot is, it's very narrow. I drive by it every day. My son lives right close to there, and I see it, and it's just it in my opinion, it would just look out of place in that narrow, as narrow as that particular property is. So I'm also prepared to deny this variance for those reasons.
Commissioner Hammelberg?
Not yet.
No?
Better.
All right. I think it's the mask. Anyways, I think the house is beautiful. I think it's a lovely house. I think it needs a bigger lot. I moved here in 1996 from Coconut Grove after watching the properties around me being subdivided and subdivided and subdivided. And the traffic got absolutely insane. And I was just in the Grove this past weekend, and it was impossible to go anywhere. I don't want to see that happen to our village. The land development code was changed in 1990 to exclude building like this unless it happens to be built by the existing owner, not to pass that property along. So I agree with Mac on all 4 points. I don't see any of the 4 points being met, and I can't support it, even though I think it's a beautiful house.
Thank you, Commissioner Samaria. Commissioner Kennedy brought all the points. He did a very good job on his presentation. I don't see the hardship in any of this. The owner can do what, she can sell the property if she wants to sell it. She's been here for quite a while and she knows what our code is. If we approve this, we're gonna be opening up a can of worms for, I think there is at least 2 other lots that are like that are probably gonna do the variance, try to request the variance too. So I just can't support this. I believe that this will affect their neighbors, which is part of the criteria. I think Commissioner Kennedy explained all 4 criterias very well. The one that's the big one for me is hardship. I don't see any hardship here. She can sell her property. We're not stopping it. With all due respect to the owner, she caused this problem by breaking this up into 3 lots. So I just don't see any way I can support this. I like the idea of what the new owners are doing, but I wanted to hear from the present owner. We're not granting a variance for the new owners. We're doing it for the present owner. And I really would have liked to have heard something from her. Thank you.
Okay, I think that the variance request coming from a potential buyer is a little bit out of the ordinary. And that's one of the main reasons why I certainly would deny this. Is there any other comments from the commissioners? Roseanne, can you take a vote, please?
First, I want to ask our village attorney, do the commission has to point the 4 criteria or just the vote?
Just the vote.
Okay, thank you.
May I ask that we remind everybody that the motion is to deny. So if you are voting to deny, then you're voting yes.
Yes. The motion on
We understand that.
Yeah, the motion on the floor is
I want to make sure.
Called by Commissioner Kennedy and Mayor Halpin. Okay, Commissioner Hammelberg?
Yes, deny the variance.
Commissioner Kennedy?
Yes.
Commissioner Samaria?
Yes.
Yes to deny.
Denied it, yes.
Vice Mayor Gonzalez?
Yes.
Yes to deny. And Mayor Halpin?
Yes.
Yes to deny. Motion passed 5-0. Variance denied.
So,
I have a question for the attorney, if I may, before we wrap this up. Ed, does the Jennings rule no longer apply? May we be in contact with the people who contacted us to speak about this? Are we done?
Yes, this matter's over, and so that rule no longer applies.
Thank you very much.
I'll entertain a motion for an adjournment.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Say
Aye.
Aye.
All
Good night,
opposed?
everybody.
Good night.